For those who planted long ago, it's the season of reaping what you sow. From flowers to vegetables, the gardens are full. Today, Charlie and Sharon tell us how to protect your favorite plants from deer, woodchucks, and other pests.
Oh, look at your rose. It's starting to get some buds on it.
Yeah, they've really bounced back from that freeze we got earlier.
It does look
and it
good.
has lots of buds on it just in time for the deer to mow it down.
If it's not one thing, it's another.
And they've even mowed down some of our raspberries. These were ones that I was hoping would grow up nice and thick and lush. Well, they gave them a big haircut. But they are coming back. So we have to protect a lot of plants.
Now, a couple weeks ago, we talked about how to rescue my rhododendron that had been chewed on by deer. But how about some prevention tips so that you don't
That
get
would
that
be a
way?
better idea. Well, the first one would be a fence. Of course, a nice tall wire 7-foot fence would be perfect for them. Deer won't be able to jump over that.
Okay.
So you can see we have some of that around here. You can have smaller fences, lower fences, if you have two of them side by side with maybe 4 or 5 feet in between. They don't
won't try that either.
They don't like to jump in between those.
Okay.
So that's probably the best thing, whether it be a whole garden or an individual tree that you're growing, a little seedling or something, to have a good fence around it. For other animals, though, it's not just the deer, you know.
I know.
There's rabbits, there's woodchucks, there's all kinds of things out there. For rabbits and woodchucks, they like to dig underneath your fence. So if you have a fence out there and you have rabbit and woodchuck problems, what you want to do is have a fence that'll go down and then elbow away from the garden, so like a 90-degree curve.
So an 8-foot fence with a foot of it being underground and out.
Right. Well,
would be
for
ideal.
the woodchucks and the rabbits, you can get away with a 3 or 4 foot fence.
If you don't have deer.
Yeah, exactly. The deer, deer don't dig. So you dig down and you curve that fence, and then you cover it over with some of the old sod or mulch or whatever it is. When the rabbit or woodchuck comes up to it, its natural instinct is to dig down and underneath, and it hits the apron, it'll hiss at you, and then it'll run away.
Be mad, yeah.
If you have a young woodchuck, they might try to climb up the fence, and if that's the case, leave the top of the fence that's attached to the stakes, leave that undone, so that when the woodchuck gets to the top, their weight pulls them back down to the ground. All these things you could do.
Yeah.
So fencing is a great thing to do. The other solution is repellent sprays.
Okay. All right. So what are our options?
So for repellents, you want to have 2 or 3 different types, because you want to rotate the sprays so they don't get used to any type of scent.
Okay.
And 2 of my favorites are these. Plant Skid is made out of blood meal. And it's a nice one that's been tested over in Scandinavia. That's a Scandinavian word. And they've been able to spray trees over there, and deer don't touch them for 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
Usually they say 6 to 8 weeks during the growing season.
Okay.
You can get it in a liquid form, or you can get it in a pellet form. The pellet form, you have to be a little careful, especially if you have dogs, because
they like it.
They like that
Yes.
smell, yes, and they'll follow you around and eat it, which
is a waste of money.
it's a waste of money, right? It might not harm them, but you don't want that to happen anyway. Then there's other kinds of sprays that have putrescent eggs, rotten eggs in them, garlic, essential oils, hot pepper. Those are good ones too to use. So then you want to spray it, and this time of year it's important to continue to spray because plants are growing, and you may spray it this week, and then next week it has a whole bunch of new growth that's not protected, and the deer will just kind of munch it right down.
And they like that young tender stuff.
They like that, and especially the flower buds that we were just seeing on the roses. It's nice to do that. So spraying it maybe once a week or so, and then after a heavy rain, that's really a good idea.
Okay.
And if you do that and you rotate it around, it'll actually work pretty well, and it'll keep them away. The problem I've had with it is that I forget. I do it once, feel good about it, then other things happen, and then right before the roses are ready to bloom.
You're just like the rest of us, aren't you?
I am, aren't I? So fences and repellent sprays, those are the 2 ways to keep those bigger animals out of your garden.
Okay.